Hello. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use the DNA Confirmation Citation Maker app to create a DNA source citation on WikiTree for your WikiTree profiles based on a YDNA match. First, you go to the app, which you can get to from the WikiTree menu, help menu apps selection. And then we choose YDNA match. The first thing you have to do is put in the WikiTree ID of the two test takers. So if you have two test takers who both have WikiTree profiles, you can add their names or their WikiTree IDs. So I'm going to put in two WikiTree IDs here. And when you do that, then the app will go into the WikiTree database and try and find the connection between the two. And so you can see, in this case, it found the connection between Peter Cloutier and François Cloutier. And then at that point, once it has the connection, it knows that they're sixth cousins twice removed. You can continue on with the process. Now, I'm going to show you an example with myself. And so I will start with my WikiTree ID, but I do not, the DNA match that I have, who did a YDNA test and matched with me, does not have a profile on WikiTree yet. So I'm just going to use his initials. And I'm going to click on Next. Now at this point, the initials FD obviously are not a valid WikiTree ID. So I have to enter in the WikiTree ID of the closest ancestor to the test taker, FD, between him and the MRCA. And if I didn't have an ancestor in between the most recent common ancestor and the test taker, then we would be in a scenario 2, and I would actually just put in the WikiTree ID of our most recent common ancestor, who would have to be on WikiTree. But in this case, his great-grandfather is actually on WikiTree. So I can put in the great-grandfather's WikiTree ID, let it know, and this is very important, to choose from the relationship, choose the great-grandfather from that drop-down. And we also have to let the app know that FD is male. And you may be asked this question from time to time because based on the way the DNA is transferred, it's important, especially for YDNA, it's transferred from father to son. So definitely have to have all males in the line. And so you can see, here we go. So for my lineage up to William Douglas, and then FD's test taker, great-grandfather Richard Douglas, who would have been my great-grand-uncle. There we go. In case you're wondering why the surname changed, I was adopted, and so Douglas is my birth family. So there we go. And you can see that FD and I are, in fact, third cousins. So for this specific example, because we're third cousins, an autosomal DNA test, like on Ancestry, would be sufficient to confirm this relationship. But we also have done YDNA tests, which also confirms it, and so that's why I'm using this as an example for the app. So we go to next. The next step is answering these questions for step 5. Very important. Have you confirmed your relationship to your match through traditional genealogy or family history? Well, as it turns out, we have. And in fact, here is all the information that you need to know about my match. So here is our family tree. I took this as a snapshot from Ancestry, where we do actually have our information stored. And you can see they are the same people as on the MiniTree app that the app shows. So yes, to the first question. Has this DNA match been provided by a testing company or a third-party comparison site? It has, in fact, been provided by Family Tree DNA, and the information is I've compiled on this little screenshot here. So yes, it has. And does the DNA predicted relationship correspond with the known relationship from traditional genealogy? So in this case, there's the genetic distance of 4 with 111 markers is consistent. And so we will say yes to that. It's also consistent through the ancestry as well, but that's a different test and a different criteria. So then we fill in the details. So we're going to put in family tree DNA, and we did a 111 marker test, which says 4, and then we can put in our kit numbers. And then when I go next, we will get to the actual source citation that we can use. So on WikiTree, we're confirming that both FD and myself are descended from William Douglas. And to do that on WikiTree, you confirm a relationship, a parental relationship, on the profile page of the child. So the child is basically confirming that these parental relationships that you've entered on WikiTree are valid. So we go to Herbert, who is one of William's sons. We'll go to that page, and if you can just click on the link here, you see how it highlights in orange. Click on that and it'll open up Herbert's page. Now what I like to do is I like to drag it over so I can see them side by side and work from one to the other. So the instructions are that we go to Herbert's page and we hit edit. So we're going to edit that. And then in the edit family column, which is on the right hand side, we're going to mark that the father is confirmed with DNA. Clicked on confirm there. And then I'm going to copy this source citation, which has been created, and you can see that it has all of the information about myself and my third cousin FD. I'm going to copy that. You can tell it's copied because it highlights. And then I go into the bio section, and under sources, I'm going to put a new subsection for DNA. That's an excellent idea that Peter Roberts showed me. I'm going to paste that in source citation, and there we have it. And then the final step is to explain your changes. So, and every time you make a change on WikiTree, you should always explain your changes. So I'm going to put DNA confirmation added with source citation. Save changes, and there we have it. Okay, so now if I go into the view, you can see there is the source citation right there. So there we have the citation for our most recent common ancestor. Now, looking here, you see that there's a bonus section. This same match can be used to confirm the connection between the other people. So if we, oopsie, that's kind of fun. If you look at the relationship between FD and myself, we have confirmed this relationship here. But because of the way YDNA works, and it's being transferred from father to son, that same match can confirm this relationship between Herbert and William, and between William and Dwight, and between Dwight and myself. And likewise, on the other side, it could confirm the relationship between William and Richard. And if William B. and Frederick were also on WikiTree, had profiles on WikiTree, it could also confirm those relationships. Now, I haven't added those profiles, but obviously I should. But I can confirm at least this relationship. So you'll see those are the names that are listed here. And to get to that information, we click on the little checkbox here, and that will show all those extra DNA confirmations. So if we start with this one, to confirm the relationship between Herbert and his son William, or his father William, we go to William Douglas, and again, And it's funny because this, even though his first name is William, everyone referred to him as Lionel actually. So then we go to his edit page and we copy this, mark it as confirmed, go down to sources. I'm going to add a DNA section here and paste, and there we have it. And we're going to save that with the DNA confirmation added with source citation, and there we go. So then we can continue on doing the same sort of thing. One little trick, if you want to avoid having to go back and forth and dragging, creating a new window and dragging it over to the side, especially with YDNA, since the last names are almost always the same. You can change. So if we go on to the next one here, we want to go to Dwight's page, and there's Dwight's WikiTree ID right there, Douglas 8124. So I just have to edit up here and put Douglas 8124, and that'll automatically load Dwight's page quickly. It's a little faster than clicking and then trying to drag over. Anyways, so we can go through and add all of those other citations. So if you have any questions, feel free to put a question in the G2G post. If you go to the very bottom of this app, you'll see in the footer there's a link to the G2G post, and the most recent one is post 2, so you could click on that and then add a comment. Or if you want to contact me directly, you can click on the contact the author, and that'll pop up a message box that will get to me. The other thing that you should know about is that all the links to the videos will be in the bottom here. So Peter Roberts did a triangulation one, and he uses GEDmatch for all of his confirmations, so you'll get some really cool tips on using GEDmatch with WikiTree. If you watch that, I highly recommend it. And when this one gets published on YouTube, the link to this one will also show up down here. Thank you very much. Have a great day.